Hi folks, welcome to Once Driven Forever Smitten. In the last video you saw me buying the Saab and picking it up, and it seemed not too bad at the time. A couple of little things to work on. Well, it didn't last. Not too long after I got it, it started making a horrendous noise from one of the pulleys on the engine, and I had to then go to work trying to identify what was wrong with it, and that video details all of that. And we've replaced a lot of components on the car. It was not easy. These are not easy cars to work on. To further complicate things, I had signed up for something called the Cannonball's Run, and there's quite a lot of Porsches and BMWs and things in this run, so I wanted to turn up with a bit of firepower, and not in a Cavalier that looks like it's been dipped in acid. So I really wanted to get the Saab going, and time began to get very tight as to whether or not I could do it. So this video details all the work that I had done on the car up until this point here. Aircon machine going on the Saab. We're going to check and see if there's any gas in it at all. A wee bit of noise came off of that. A bit of noise came off that there. It needs an extension on the front port because you can't get into it otherwise. A bit of noise came out that. Maybe a farting little bit in it. We shall see if it extracts any gas whatsoever. Right, it has got gas in it, which would indicate that it should kick in, which it doesn't. So therefore, there's probably something else up with it. Hey, that's on. Now that's on, like. Right, that's the aircon off.
That's it off? I bet fucking switch in there.
Not doing anything.
Okay. Oh, I can't be the doing for it. I need this right there, fucking.
Jack it up.
Hard one. Okay. Don't come make any difference. What's the right one?
I don't know. Okay, but it's got all those ones, two sideways ones, so you're up along the bottom, and then you've got them along there. It does look like the right one. Second row up in the middle, aye. Fan, then it's got, aye, that's the right one, ACC.
I can't see the collar.
Okay. Because the Saab has non-working aircon and now has a noisy power steering pump, they both need to be replaced. What we're doing now is sucking the gas out it, because it was full of gas before. And gas is expensive and it's illegal to vent it to atmosphere. So it's interesting to see how much is in it. I reckon it was filled right up. I say the compressor clutch isn't engaging, so need to sort that. There you can see it there, 260, 270. See what it's pulling out of there. Okay, so bought the Saab, used it a tiny little bit. Not much, because the aircon's never worked in it. We've established that it needs an aircon pump, and then the power steering pump went noisy on it as well, therefore making it undrivable, because it's only a matter of time before it throws the belt off it. Well, I've ordered a new aircon pump, new power steering pump, so it's now a matter of removing the old ones off the car, which I've got no clue how to do. I think I need to take this bit off here and support the engine. I'll take the induction pipe out, see what space I've got to get a look into there. one of the first things I need to do is remove the wheel arch liner, which is one big plastic section. This last screw wasn't wanting to come out. Mulgrit's job. Amazingly it's not snapped, it is actually now winding out. So that will give us more room to see what's going on with the compressor. I think that's it ready to come out now. Right, so I've just removed the intake pipe there. Now there's one of the ports to the power steering pump there, and then there's a union end that goes in there. But it's pretty tight to get into it. I can't see how I'm going to access the aircon compressor easily. What I've noticed as well is these pipes have been rubbing badly on this fan, so that's not right. I think they should have been routed differently or hooked into those little that little rubber bracket there. Well, I'm going to take the fan out, which looks to me to be a couple of 10 mils. If I lift the fans out and remove the two fan connections there, that should give us a bit more space. So I had to temporarily remove the top radiator hose and this metal pipe that runs from there to there to get the fans out. Now that I've got them out, I can see the ports for the air conditioning pump that I need to remove. This thing doesn't seem like it was ever set up right. We now need to find the bolts that hold the compressor in place. Right, power steering pump's ready to come out. I had to take the two sideways bolts out and hit it with a hammer to knock it round to get enough space to get this bolt out, and now it will lift free. Goodbye noisy power steering pump, and come here bolt before you fall down the back of the engine. Definitely making a horrible noise, that. No, he's nice and quiet. Wasn't him. Yeah. There's a little bolt. What's that out of? I don't think that was me that put that down there. Anyway, are we any closer to seeing how this aircon compressor might come out? Let's have a look. Right, well, that is the aircon compressor and the power steering pump stripped out the Saab. Of course, it's now dark and the rain's absolutely hammering down. There's our compressor, there's our power steering pump, we've got them ordered. There's the belt there. I'll take the number off that and order a new one, even though it's not that old. If we look here, there's a coolant, bright red coolant that you'd expect. This stuff's weird, look at that. Looks like bloody aircon pag oil, the colour of it. It's like fluorescent green. It's weird stuff like. But obviously I won't be putting that back in. I'll be getting fresh power steering oil for it. And I'll put that coolant back into it, because I think that was just done recently. Alrighty, it's now about a week later and I am back at the Saab, pouring my rain, but I need to get this done. Wish spring would hurry up. Anyway, here is the old aircon compressor and here is the replacement purchased from eBay. And as we can see, it's the same, it's got the same plug end on it. And here is our replacement power steering pump, also purchased from eBay. And again, that's exactly the same, which is good stuff. So this bracket here goes onto there and then mounts to the engine. But what I'm going to do first is I am going to go under the car and bolt the compressor in place with the 3 bolts. Right, so that's our air compressor on. Top bolt goes in there, and as we go round underneath, dead easy to post it up through there. There's one of the bolts, and the other one's off to the side up there. So that's that in. Now I'm going to go and unscrew the caps off it down there and then install our aircon pipes back onto it again. Right, that's the power steering pump installed. A couple of bolts go through that mount into the block, and then we've got 2 down the side of the pulley there. Hose in there, and I've connected the bottom one in the 17mm. That's all that done. Connected the turbo hose up at the bottom, so I can now go and fit the fan. Right, so we're getting there. Fan is installed. I've installed the metal pipe thing, whatever that is. Hi Denny. And now I'm going to put the drive belt on. The drive belt was just done, I think, before I got the car. You can still see the Continental writing clear as day on it somewhere. Definitely says Continental on it somewhere. The beast of a belt. Anyway, yeah, there you go. There's no evidence of cracking or anything like that in it, so it's going back on. We're fine for now. Now of course I would be struggling to know how to replace it, but thankfully due to the wonders of the internet there's a diagram there. I'm going to stick an extension bar in that square hole at the back there into the tensioner to slacken it to get the belt on, which is quite a good idea. Now I noticed having a look online that this has got a variant what's called a short belt, and all you have to do is to slacken this down is just pull there like that. But that's the belt on now anyway, so the last couple of bits and pieces, get this hose on here, put the power steering fluid in it, the coolant in it, fire it up, see if it's actually going to behave. Just refitting the big engine top mount around here. Obviously it dropped down a little bit, so underneath I've just got a bottle jack with a big block of wood spreading the load there, so I'll get these tightened down now, take that off of there and put some fluids in it and see what happens. Now, the power steering fluid that the Saab uses is central hydraulic fluid, which is green, interestingly enough. See if it will fire up. I suspect the battery may be flat, but we'll see. Oh. Please stop. Oh, it did. Way. When I first topped it up with the green fluid, there was all this contamination in there. It's like really yellowy, sort of coffee colour. It's not right. So what I did was, I bled it up and then just tipped the header tank out and put some fresh stuff in, and it looks a lot better in there now. But I'm going to do it one more time. I'm going to tip the contents out of this into that and fill it up again with some more of this because I've got 2 bottles of it. Flush it. Right, come here, minging fluid. Well, less minging fluid. Still not a very nice colour, that. Wonder what it's had in it. Anyway, we'll top it off again with green. See what happens. Messy. Right, see what happens this time, see if it stays cleaner. So I've had it running for a while and it is quieter now. We've got rid of the power steering noise, but there's still another noise in there. It's the tensioner pulley. When I sprayed some WD-40 into the pulley, it quietened it down temporarily. So I've just had a look on eBay and I can get one for £19 next day delivery. So I've just ordered that. I'll have to go and strip the top mount off again clip the belt off it, but it's an easy enough job to change the tensioner, so that's okay. In the meantime, going to change the oil on it now. It is nice that it is actually a lot quieter now. Right, now have a bucket of spooge. Oil filter, I couldn't get it off. I had to stab it with a screwdriver twice. Right, anyway, this Saab B235 engine, B235R engine, smokes a bit, so we're putting some liquid moly oil smoke stop in there to see what that's going to do. Read good reviews about it. I mean, additives are hit and miss, but it's definitely worth a punt. You know, might soften up the seals a bit. You never know. And interestingly, the Saab engine only takes 4 litres of oil. So we've got 300 ml of that. I'm going to fire out engine oil in now. Now for some 530 fully synthetic Dexos 2 spec oil. Ooh. Now we get on. What have we got? It's not a bit to go yet. Hello, Bob. Excuse me, it's time to get out again. I'll just drive the car with you in it, you know. Although you don't mind that, so it's not really a threat. I'm going to get out. Time to get out, come on. Yes, it is actually time to get out the car. Don't go back in there, come on. Thank you. Alright, well, now it's got the compressor on it, time to regas it. And hopefully it'll bloody work. I've also got one, well that's the tensioner pulley which sets the tension on the belt. There's also an idler pulley which I ordered a day later, but hopefully it's this one, it's the right thing. So I've got to take this off again and support the engine underneath to get access to the belt.
Have you guys done something like that fucking
Ah, great thing, right? Use it a lot more than I did a 3/8 gun.
I wonder what that's like with a fucking 54 volt battery.
Probably lethal when it tightens something up and it kicks on you. It's quite mad. Oh, where did that go then, sir? Wash up. Right. That gives us access to. Right. So we've dropped taken the engine mount off and we've lifted it up a bit with an axle stand with a bit of wood on it. And these are Brian's really shallow Mac Tools Allen keys. I don't have a set of these, I'll probably get some, because I wouldn't have got access to that otherwise. So that just fits in there, and we can now slacken this off and remove the pulley, which is handy because I would have been struggling to get into them with any of the 6mm Allen fittings that I've got. Right, that's the old pulley out of there. And there is a little bit of noise off that. You're not really going to be able to tell until it's under tension, but Good news is the replacement is the correct one, so that's good, and you can't put them on back to front or anything like that. I'm just going to get a bit of brake cleaner and clean all the crud off this before I put it back in, and then hopefully that'll do the trick. If it's not that, it'll be this one, and if it's not that, it's the alternator, and that would be annoying. That again now. Right, that didn't solve it, but it's this one. If you put the pry bar on the end of it, you can literally feel the vibration coming down it, so that one's arriving tomorrow, so that's okay. There's definitely a bit of vibration off it, so I'm going to be doing some tyre rotation as well as balancing. This is a budget AO telly, and this is a Falcon. This Falcon was on the back, but it also had a Falcon on the opposite side front, so I'm going to match these up, put them in the machine, and that's 35 out, which is obviously going to be giving us a fair bit of shake. So let's get these balancing weights off and start again. There we go. When I pinged the weights off it, it had gone to 55 and we're now down to 0. So this nearly new Falcon can go in the front with its mate, and we don't even know it's in the back on the other side, but I'll keep the budgets in the back for now, and I'll probably get 2 decent ones to match these. And this other, the budget that was on the front near side, out by 25. No wonder we were getting some shake off it. A huge pile of weights on it. It's got some weights in there, and then as we go in, it's got a whole pile of weights over there. So I don't know who's balanced this. It's an Infinity tyre, another cheapo. It's out by 60 according to this. So let's see what it is if I strip all the weights off it. With no balancing weights on it, it requires less weight than having about 120 grams of weight on it. Interesting. Tyre number 4, spot on. This is going to make some difference. Aircon machine now vacuuming for 20 minutes. I thought it was doing it when I was balancing the wheels. Oops. What buttons is it you press again? Checkered flag. Manual. Oil. Oil going in.
The new compressor probably falling.
As it's oiled up.
What did you say it was?
825.
830.
825, aye. Close enough. Installing the gas. Now. Is it going to work? That's the thing. There's a 40 quid headlight bulb. Nice. And so I'm hoping for, because it's not very nice to drive when it's even slightly hot. Boom, right, that's the gas in. Just close the ports and fire it up.
Aye.
Right, let's see what happens now. Whether or not we get some. Right, so I'm now in the diagnostic system because the compressor didn't kick in, and we've got 2 fault codes. Which I don't know, B2380, B1600, let's delete them. Deleted, okay. Let's see what happens this time then. Was doing nothing on the gauges, and we've checked the fault codes, and it's definitely plugged in at the compressor, and it's not doing anything. So we're checking the relays, and when that happens, then you can see, but the aircon compressor kicks in. Therefore, the relay's knackered. Right then, we have the final bit of the puzzle to quieten down the Saab drive belt. So we're going to get that fitted, but first we're going to check and see what the smoke situation's like now that it's been running with that liquid moly in it. Not that it's done a lot of miles. Once again I'm going to remove the top engine mount section, got it supported under there in my bottle jack with a bit of wood, and we're going to get into this pulley right in the top back corner. Let's check our new tensioner against the old one. Yeah, it comes with a washer in it, okay. Not a washer in this one, but yeah, otherwise that is identical, which is good. Check the paperwork. Not going to tell me how this goes together. Yeah. Okay. An extra washer. What is that for? Can't sit. Does it sit in the back? Yeah, it would do. Okay. Okay. That's an innie outie. Yeah, it is. Although that one isn't. I'm gonna say I'm gonna go on like that. Right, there he is, right in there. So we'll just go and tighten him up and then get the belt on. Lovely. I really like that setup where you can just adjust the tensioner by doing that. But that's him on and in place. Let's just fire it up now and see, before we put the mount back on, if it finally quietens it down. Right. Is the Saab now going to be at least somewhat usable? Is it going to make a racket? Right, I am stumped on this. I've just phoned Simply Saab, who are on the registration plate, Saab specialist in Bristol, because I do not know where the circulation pump is on this car. I don't know if it's even got one. It occurs to me that it's for like a parking heater for cold climate. Don't think it's the aircon compressor. I've given them the fault code and I've asked them about the bottom pulley because it's got quite a pronounced shimmy off it, and obviously I've changed the power steering pump and those two tensioners and it's still making that noise. Now I would like to eliminate the water pump because you should change these things periodically and I don't know how long it's been in the car. Don't think it's the alternator making the noise. I've sprayed some WD-40 into it and usually with an alternator it would at least quieten it down temporarily. So I'm going to wait for them to come back, see what they say. So now down at the workshop, here is the Saab B204 engine I've had for a very long time. So I'm going to go and try and remove this harmonic balancer. Couldn't find it online because I was searching for crankshaft pulley. Assuming this one will be alright because this engine's done a lot less than the one in that 9.5. I also need to replace the water pump on it. I wonder how hard that is to do. I'll soon find out. No way! No way!
Did that come out first try?
I'm surprised that that did come out. That's not to say that the puller...
How did that come out?
Well, I'm surprised that that came out. I thought it would be a lot tighter than that, but... Okay, that's good, that's good. Sound. No, it looks like it's gonna... It looked like it was gonna come off there. It came back a bit when I just... Oh! Boom, look at that! straight off. That is the complete pulley and balancer. No way, that was suspiciously easy. Now I've got that on order as well while I'm in there. The crank seal, which is going to be coming from eBay. Now look at that though, there's a great big circlip in there as well. Okay.
Cool.
Interesting. So what's behind that then? Ah, I suppose more Googling. Yeah, ideal I've got that part though. That's really handy to have that. I'm surprised that took that out as easily as that, but hey! Not to say that the other one will come out that easily.
I mean,
there's a wood rough in there. Okay. Let's put that back on there now. Right, take 23 or something with a Saab. We've got a new control panel from a 4-cylinder, which should get rid of the phantom fault code. I'm going to fit that. Might get the aircon working, I don't know. We've also got our bottom pulley, or harmonic balancer as it's called, and we've got a new water pump, which, look at this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 bolts and then 3 in the front. I don't know how it comes out. Looks to me, well, I'm going to have to do a bit of stripping out to get some access, but it looks kind of to me like the turbo's in the way or something, I don't know. Let's get stripping. Of course it's raining and I have limited time to work on this, so I just need to get on with it. Right, we'll remove the heat shield, remove the engine lifting eye, taking the pipe out, this intake pipe, taking the sensor off it. Down here where my 10mm spanner is, I'm now slackening this bracket because once I get the intake pipe off the turbo out the way, I should be able to access the water pump, or at least part of it. Hoping I don't need to remove the power steering pump, since I've already done that, but we shall see. Right, so we removed the turbo intake pipe, and I've just removed the power steering pump, but I've not disconnected the hoses out it. And as we can see down here, the 7 bolts go into like a body, so that's maybe not as bad as I thought it was going to be if I can get to all the bolts. Probably not. The hose going in the back of there, there's like a banjo bolt. I don't think I need to disturb that. Okay, let's see what happens next. I've given this a lot of thought, and I'm going to try and split the water pump off from the body and leave the body on the car. Try and not disturb it. I'll try and get the 7 bolts out it, which I can get to get rid of this banjo. Now I've got the banjo bolt out the road. That bottom water pump bolt was a nightmare. It's got nylock on it. Oh, really difficult to access it. Right, so I'll now move the power steering pump back out the road. See if we can get these 7 bolts out it. Dubious. Well, I managed to get what I thought were the toughest bolts out, the water pump. Rusty as well. Surprised I didn't bloody round off or snap, but I can't get that top one because of the manifold. There's no way to get to it, so I've got to take the exhaust manifold off now. Notice it's got a broken stud there and a broken stud there. Curiously it's not leaking, but I'll have to get that looked at as well. Oh Bob. Ah, the Nova, I need to get to work on this soon. Hey, what are you doing up there? Good vantage point, is it? Be slippery, you'll not be able to get down easy. Good for watching the birds away. Right. How do you remove it without taking the whole turbo? Christ. I managed to just move the turbo enough, or the manifold enough, to get into that bolt that I couldn't get to. This is the last one coming out now, and then it'll be a matter of just taking those 2 top 13s out, and then with any luck That'll be the water pump free. These have got corrosion on them. Right, let's take these 213s out. Right, bolts are all out. This stupid thing gonna come out of here now. Please consider doing so. Ow! Oh, see, that's power steering pump. I think it's free, but it seems to be jammed on things. What's preventing this from coming out? What way are you going to come out? You have to come out one way. Oh wow, that was a pain. That sounds noisy to me. Oh yeah, big difference between the new one and that one. That one's definitely... Yep, that's what the noise has been. Just been round the mating surface on that pump body with a Stanley blade to get rid of the old gasket. Here's the new one. So that will go on like... Oh, for goodness sakes. That will go on like so. So let's get this bolted in place. A couple of bolts on it, get it all lined up. Well, I did manage to extract the pump body from the engine block. It's got an O-ring on it down there. There was no way I was getting that gasket in otherwise, so we've got to look at that now. What do we see? I see an O-ring on the end there, so yeah, I've got an O-ring in the kit for that. Right, that's cool, and I've got an O-ring for that as well. Yeah, there's actually 3 O-rings in this set. What's the other one for? There's one for on there. Where'd the other one go? Is it because of this thing that goes into the block? I'm not going to disturb that. I'll get the other O-ring on though. I'll remove that. I would have to remove the exhaust manifold anyway. There's no way I was getting in there otherwise. Right, that's going to do for tonight. The water pump's installed. Got more to finish off, but it's pitch dark now and it's late, so I need to order an exhaust gasket as well, but we'll get some more progress on it tomorrow when it's light. Honestly, I might have this thing ready by Christmas at this rate. That little bracket right in there that holds the intake pipe to the turbo, that took about 2 hours to put on. And I had to take the power steering pump off because it only goes on one way because of that bolt in there. Just put the manifold back on with a knackered gasket and 2 snapped bolts. It's not going to seal, but you know, they're better than nothing. We'll fire it up. Right, time to connect up more pipe work. Right, onto the bottom pulley. Is it going to come off? Well, that's came out, so that's good. Oh! Okay. That's very good. Okay, good. Excellent. We have here a new front crank seal. I'm just going to pop this one out gently. Dink. Yes, a bit of oil in there. In fact, we'll clean that out first. Do think there's been a bit of oil leaking out of there. Right, there's the old balancer on the left. Well, sorry, this is the old balancer on the left. This is a new one off the other engine on the right. Hopefully this one's not going to wobble. It's going to apply a little bit of thread lock to this bolt for it going back in. It came out without too much difficulty with the gun, so it's just going back in with a gun. Right, the belt is all fitted, everything is fitted. I don't have any spare bolts, anything like that. We know the manifold is likely to leak, but we've got a new gasket in order. See what happens. Yep, it's quiet. We've just got a clicking manifold. Well, the success lasted about 10 seconds. We've got a massive water leak from one of the pipes that goes into the water pump housing. It doesn't, obviously not shoved home right. Can't access it because I would need to remove this thing, which I really don't want to remove this thing because it took me about 2 hours to get the bracket on it. So right folks, well it is now once again some days later and stuff has arrived for the Saab. We have got right angled drill adapter, which we're going to need, new manifold bolts, a helicoil set to allow us to get some new threads in those exhaust bolt holes. We've got silicone instant gasket to try and seal this thing up because it was leaking through the body even though the gasket is on it, which I do not understand. What's that in there? There's a hole in the back of there. What is that for? Surely that's not, water doesn't come out through there. Surely. Anyway, and also we've got a new gasket to replace the absolute skanker of one. Right, that is the water pump slotted in there. What I've really realised with this is you have to do everything in a very set order. If you don't remove a certain part or do something, skip ahead a step, then you won't be able to do the next bit. You cannot get to the bottom water pump bolt with that U-shaped pipe in place, so I had to take the water pump back off to remove that. So I'm going to screw these 3 bolts in now, and then I'm going to connect up all the pipes, and then we're going to see if it's going to hold water. Right, now pouring the coolant back in, a large quantity of which I managed to recover even though it leaked out twice. Only what a waste fresh pink antifreeze. I better not hear this dripping on the ground. I'm telling you, I better not. Next up, I've got the right angle drill attachment, and I've got the drill bit for the M6 for the helicoil set, which will match these, which are also M6 1mm, and I'm going to use these here centre punches to try and centre the start of the drill as best I can into there. Not that there's much space for it to move anyway at all, and then hopefully be able to go and drill the broken exhaust manifold studs out. Right, I've actually fitted the first helicoil onto it and it's worked, and as I was going through the process of like drilling this hole and then tapping it and everything, didn't think it was going to, but it did. So I'm going to go into the second one now. I've drilled it out up to like 6mm, and with the M8 you need to go up to use this 8.2mm drill bit. Once I've done that, then we run the tap into it again, and then we fit the helicoil, and then we can fit the manifold. The water level looks okay. We don't have any leakage on the floor this time, so that's good. A bit less space to access this bolt. No way you could do it without having the right angle drill in there. And also sit level. A little bit more. Right, the manifold's shoved in place now. This is a new gasket. It doesn't use one of the bolt holes on it. It's like, sort of like universal for like different Saabs. So I'm just going to see if we can slide this down there, and then we will have to pull the manifold back and slide it in. And it should line up in position. Obviously you're going to have to bend it a little bit to get it past that stupid back there. Pull the manifold back a bit and then it will just pop in. There we go. Right, gasket's in. Right, I need to line it up. Right, good news is the helicoiling has worked. With the new manifold bolts in there as well, we've not got a crack from the manifold or anything like that. What I have done, which is silly, is lost a little bit of rubber off of that. I'm going to cable tie that in place till I get a replacement. But yeah, really pleased that the helicoil worked, because I've never done that before. I think I could maybe do a better job of it the next time, but you know, it was alright. In the Saab, again, going down the unit with it. It's noisy, it's rattling, not doing what I wanted to. I used the Tech 2 to program the ACC though. It came up with a code for a bypass solenoid valve, which it doesn't have. And as it turned out, I just had to reprogram it to tell it that it's not a diesel and it doesn't have that of the circulation pump. All codes cleared, aircon still doesn't work. I've got no external temperature sensor on it. Don't know if that would have anything to do with anything, probably not. And I've also ordered a pressure valve though, which is apparently quite common to fail, but it won't give you any faults as a result. So we're going to drive this gently down to the unit, and we shall hopefully be able to get that alternator off the other engine on it. It should not be making that noise. Must be the alternator, there's nothing else it can be. It did start doing it after it went through an awful lot of big puddles one day. I wonder if like the inside of the alternator's rusted. I tried spraying white grease and WD-40 on it. Didn't help. This thing should actually be lovely to drive. I've got a very vague recollection of it being quite nice when I got it. That was a long time ago. It will be nice, we will overcome. it came down to it, I wonder if I could fit that B204 that's down the unit, because they're good for like 400 brake standard anyway. What difference would it make hooking it up to all the aero stuff? Right, now at the unit where my head's flashing, like the boot lid prop, because God forbid the tailgate would stay open. Alternator, this is like the same setup as the other engine. This engine's much drier and fresher, even though it's a 2 litre. And if that thing doesn't behave itself, I would be tempted to go and put the whole 2 litre in it. What a difference would it make? I don't know. Anyway, 3 13mm bolts. I'm going to have to take this tensioner off to get into the bracket that holds the alternator in place. Yeah, this engine's a B204 and it's had a really easy life. One owner for now, 100,000 miles on it. Only time it got anywhere near the speed limit was when we used to take it for its MOT once a year. So it'd be useful for something, I'm sure. Didn't really intend or think it would be going in another Saab right enough. The chances of getting on there? Yes. Turns out there's 4 bolts in the tensioner body which also holds the alternator. One of the bolts is all rusty and I can't access it from here, and this bolt will not come out because it's obscured there. And being as I am fed up, I've just went and ground a section out that tensioner anyway to go and pull the bolt through, because I cannot get it any other way. I mean, Saabs are full of shit design, like. Know that, like, the aesthetics and everything like that, very clever, aye. High spec turbocharged engines, very clever, but the way they're put together is a total pain in the arse to work on, like. They're much worse to work on than pretty much most Vauxhalls, because of stupid time consuming shit like this. No need for that, no need for it at all. There's that stupid bolt there that you can't get to. Listen, it's got one, and then, okay, so the drive shaft bracket is also part of the alternator as well. Interesting. Right, that's our alternator removed. Seems to spin freely. See, it's only 2 long bolts that actually hold it in, but it's getting access to those bolts. Let's get the car in and see. I have been on this car for about 4 hours and I've just got the old alternator out. I've had to remove the drive shaft, and there was one particular bracket on the tensioner which lives up the back there, which you probably can't see, which required me to remove all that to get to one bolt, which is a notorious bolt. Various eBay videos talk about it. I'm tempted not to even put the thing back in. But this one is the replacement alternator, which spins quietly enough. This is the one that was on it, which seems to me to be just as quiet, so I've got suspicions that this isn't going to solve whatever noise this thing is making, which is quite concerning, really. So what I had to do was remove the whole exhaust system from the turbo to give us enough space to shove our alternator in to where it's supposed to go. I guess I'm going to put just enough space in there, I guess. Back up through there, and then we'll have to work out how it's going to sit. Like that, I guess. What I don't want it to do is fall back down again. Sitting over now. Does not want to do in any way, shape or form. It was hard enough to get the old one out. Not bad. If this one stays in, right, as I'm putting it back together, just put the bracket on the exhaust to hold it there, and one of the bolts in the exhaust as well. Alternator's now jammed there, so I guess I need to kind of shuffle it round, then go back to the top and see if I can get it connected onto the bracket. My next step is I've got the alternator wedged there, and I've got the bracket just sitting on top of it, and I've managed to get the bolt into it. Now what I need to do, the bolt's in there, if I can't see it, it's in there where my finger is. I need to get that tightened up now. Once I've got the top one on, then I can pull this up out the way, and then I can get the drive shaft and the bottom part in. So the best way to get the alternator top bracket bolt in is shove the tensioner bracket block down to the side, put the alternator at an angle down there. Torch has disappeared down there now. Like that, to get the bolt in. That's me got it in now. So I can now hoist it up and put it in position. Right, I have jumped ahead because the job has been an unbearable nightmare. It's now about 2 AM, about 8 hours to do an alternator. Let's fire it up. Whoa! Yes! Here we go, cold start. It's so much happier now. Okay, so that's all for this one on the Saab. For all the hassle that I had getting it up to a point where it was at least drivable, and then finally getting the aircon to work, because climate control cars really need the aircon working, because at least with this it seemed to just send warm air through rather than fresh cold air from outside. So as soon as it got warm it was horrible, but having the aircon working really makes the car, pretty much everything is working on it now apart from the rear parking sensors, which I don't care about. With no lights on the dash or anything like that. Do have some more work to do on it, but I mean it's 90% there. Next time round I'm going to be replacing the cam cover gasket. We've got a little rubber bung to go in the end there because that's leaking oil out, it seems to be missing. Got a set of new genuine Saab NGKR spark plugs for it. We're going to take the sump off, check the strainer, which I think is fine, but Saab engines can be prone to that, and we're going to reseal the sump again with some high quality, high temp sealant. And after that it's pretty much just a case of tyres. I'd like to get a matching set on there because 250 horsepower through the front wheels does put quite a strain on the tyres. These Falcons aren't bad. I might see if I can get another 2, or might just get 2 Toyos or Rain Sports for now and put these on the back. But they have worn down a fair bit since I did the Cannonballs run. I don't think the front tyres would last very long on these. But I say absolutely delighted with it now, after being worried for a period that you know this was a bad car, which it really isn't. It's quite a bit of kit for having paid 950 quid for it, spending a few £100 in bits. It really should be good to go for a good while now. I think you just get in the car because you know you'll get on YouTube at the end. Excuse me. Oi. Oi. Ah. Not in any way ignorant. Excuse me. Talking to you. Yes, you. Oh, hello. Yes, you. You're going to have to get out in a minute. I'm shutting the car up. I'm finished. No look at me like that.